Hello, sweet faces. This is our 7th grade homework review. This is going to be one video with all of the homeworks reviewed for the week, but I am going to ask that you stop as we get to the end of each worksheet and come back to the recording later in the week so you have the opportunity to do all of your homework. Just kind of going on the honor system for that because it's just easier for me to make one long video than to make 5 separate ones for all the classes that I need to teach each week. So for this one, we are comparing positive and negative numbers. At the top, you're going to see that I gave you a few reminders that the further to the left we go is going to be our smaller number. Remember, as we work our way from 0, that these numbers increase. What I mean is it goes -1, -2, -3 in our brains. They're increasing, but the value is decreasing. As we move to the right, our numbers are going to be larger. And if we're crossing 0, still going to be further right is going to be our larger value. So let's take a look. We have -37, -36, -34. -37 is going to be the furthest away from 0, the furthest to the left. So we would say that -37 is less than, -36 is less than, -34. -34 is going to be our value closest to 0. The next set we have 37, -41, -62. 37 is going to be our biggest value. It's going to be on the right side of 0. -62 is going to be our smallest value. That's going to be the furthest to the left. We would say that 37 is greater than -41 is greater than -62. Our next set is +12, -12, -11. Our largest value in this set is going to be +12. Our smallest value is going to be -11. We would say with this set that +12 is greater than -12 is less than -11. Next set, -6, -7, -9. Or I'm sorry, +9. +9 is our greatest value. -7 is our smallest value. -6 is greater than -7 is less than 9. Down the bottom here, we have 84, -6, and 62. 84 is greater than -6 is less than 62. And then the last set, -8 is greater than -9 is less than -7. If you have any questions, please send me a message or ask them at the start of our next class. At this point, I'm going to ask you to stop the video and pick up after your next homework assignment. All right, homework number 2, we are still working on comparing positive and negative numbers. Remember that the further we go left from 0, our numbers are going to seem to increase. What I mean is we have -1, -2, -3, but as our number increases, our value decreases. So we're always going to ask ourselves, if we're thinking of our numbers on a number line, which of our numbers is going to be farthest to the left? That's going to be our smaller number. What number is going to be furthest to the right? That's going to be our larger number. So for this set, we have 42, -40, -39. 42 is going to be our largest value. That is going to be farthest to the right. -40 is going to be our smallest value. That's going to be farthest to the left. So this set is 42 is greater than -40 is less than -39. For this set, 22 is going to be our greatest value. -23 is going to be our smallest value because if we put them on a number line, -23 is going to be the furthest away from 0 or the furthest to the left. We would say that 22 is greater than -23 is less than -20. Set number 3, 19 is greater than -18 is less than -17. 19 is our largest value, -18 is our smallest value. Over here, -37 is greater than -41 is less than -38. -41 is our smallest value. -37 is our greatest value. -37 is the closest value to 0. 22 is greater than negative 23 is greater than negative 24. 22 is our largest value. Negative 24 is our smallest value. Negative 28 is greater than negative 34 is less than 33. 33 is our greatest value. Negative 34 is our smallest value. That is the end of our second homework assignment. Depending on what class you're in, please stop the video at this point. All right, my friends, in class today, we were talking about absolute values and opposites. Now, up top, we have some quick reminders that opposites are two numbers that are the same distance from zero. So we have the example of negative 3 and 3. 3 is 3 hops from 0 to the right. Negative 3 is 3 hops from 0 to the left. So they would be considered opposites. Absolute value is the distance from 0. So we're not putting a positive or a negative sign. So negative 2 is 2 spaces from 0. So the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. We also have some comparison practice because understanding positive and negative numbers can be a little bit sticky. So let's start right here. We have negative 12. The absolute value, its distance from 0 is 12 spaces. Negative 12 is 12 spaces to the left. So its opposite would be 12 spaces to the right of 0, which would be positive 12. 39, it is 39 spaces from 0. So absolute value would be 39. 39 is 39 spaces from 0 to the right. So its opposite would be 39 spaces from 0 to the left, giving us negative 39. Negative 22 is 22 spaces from 0. So its absolute value is 22. Its opposite is also 22 because negative 22 is 22 spaces to the left. Positive 22 is 22 spaces to the right. When we're comparing, we want to make sure that we're writing the absolute value to help our brain make connections with what number we're really comparing. So the absolute value of negative 18 is 18. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. So negative 13 is less than 18 is greater than 2. Again, we're going to write the value. So negative 12, the absolute value is 12. Negative 12 is less than 12 is equal to 12. Over here, we're doing the absolute value and the opposite. 29 has an absolute value of 29, an opposite of negative 29. Negative 29 has an absolute value of 29 and is the opposite 29. Negative 62 has an absolute value of 62 and its opposite is 62. Negative 71 has an absolute value of 71. Its opposite is 71. Negative 19 has an absolute value of 19. Its opposite is 19. And negative 13 has an absolute value of 13. Its opposite is 13. For the last question, we're going to find the absolute value of 37 and the absolute value of negative 37. Both absolute values are the same because we're asking its distance from 0. 37 is greater than negative 37, is less than positive 37. If you have any questions, please send me a message or ask at the very beginning of our next class. I'm going to ask you to stop the video here, and in just a moment, I'm going to start the next homework assignment. Okay. Welcome back to another edition of Homework Review. We are working on absolute value and opposites. The absolute value is a number's distance from 0. So for our opposite, 3 is 3 spaces from 0. So its opposite is negative 3. So 3 is 3 spaces to the right. Negative 3 is 3 spaces to the left. 3 and negative 3 are opposites. Absolute value is the distance from 0 of just one number. So negative 2 is 2 spaces from 0. So the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. So over here, we're doing the absolute value. Again, what is this number's distance from 0? The answer is never going to be negative. Opposite, what is the number on the opposite side of 0? The same distance. So 14 has an absolute value of 14. It is 14 spaces from 0. And because it is 14 spaces from 0, its opposite is negative 14, which would be 14 spaces to the left. Negative 22 has an absolute value of 22, and its opposite is 22. Negative 96 has an absolute value of 96, and its opposite is 96. When we're comparing and we have to do the absolute value, we're going to do that first to help our brain make a strong connection between what numbers we're actually comparing. The absolute value, the distance from 0 of 48 is 48 spaces. The absolute value of negative 46 is 46 spaces. So we would say that 48 is greater than negative 47 is less than 46. We're comparing 13, the absolute value of 26, and negative 15. The absolute value of 26 is 26 because it is 26 spaces from 0. 13 is less than, 26 is greater than negative 15. Over here, we're doing the absolute value and opposites. 84 has an absolute value of 84 and an opposite of negative 84. Negative 85 has an absolute value of 85 and its opposite is 85. Negative 63 has an absolute value of 63 and its opposite is 63. Negative 4 has an absolute value of 4 and its opposite is 4. Negative 24 has an absolute value of 24 and its opposite is 24. Negative 36 has an absolute value of 36 and its opposite is negative 36. Our final comparison, we want to put the absolute value of 83, which is 83, the absolute value of negative 85, which is 85, and we would say that 83 is greater than negative 82 is less than 85. If you have any questions, please send me a message or ask them at the start of our next class. With that, I'm going to ask you to stop today's video and pick up with the next one when it is given to you. All right, here is our final homework of the week. We are ordering numbers. We are ordering positive numbers, negative numbers, and absolute values. The first thing we're going to do when we're starting is we're going to write the absolute value of any number to help us make sure we're comparing the correct numbers. So we have 24, which is the absolute value of 24, and we have 22, which is the absolute value of negative 22. Just a quick reminder that numbers furthest to the left, whether they are closer to 0 or furthest away from 0, are going to be the smallest value. Numbers to the right are going to be larger. Once we have these, we're going to start and look at our negative numbers first because they are going to be our smallest. Remember, the larger the number, when it's negative, the smaller the value. So if we're ordering these from least to greatest, we have negative 38, negative 30, 22, 24, 36. Over here, the absolute value of 46 is 46. The absolute value of negative 37 is 37. We start negative. The larger the number, the smaller the value. Negative 39, negative 38, 25, 37, 46. You're going to notice that all of these are ordering least to greatest, so we're going to use those same rules. Write your absolute values. For this one, we have negative 42 and 42. They both share the same absolute value, so you're going to be writing that twice in your answer. So our values are negative 40, 41, 42, 42, 46. Write your absolute values. Start with your negative answers. Negative 87, negative 83, 84, 86, 88. Absolute values first, starting negative, negative 97, negative 92, 92, 94, 96. And our last one, -26, 18, 22, 28, 29. That brings us to our final homework of the week. If you have questions, please reach out and message me or ask them at the start of our next class. Have a great weekend, friends.